Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Andy, I just threw a banana on the ground. What do you
Second
have to
Breakfast
say to
Nation.
that, Andy? What do
Second
you have to
Breakfast
say to that,
Nation.
Andy?
This is, well,
I'm throwing it down. Andy, I threw a banana on the ground. What are you going to say?
pick up that banana.
You
Okay.
know what? Let him no. Let it sit. Let him deal with it.
All right.
Let him deal with it.
Someday, Second Breakfast Nation, I will tell you what just happened there.
Not
But,
maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday and for the rest of your life.
yes. But in the
Okay.
meantime, pick up that banana.
Oh, 10-minute Tuesday, people. That's how we started.
That's how we
That's how we
started.
roll on 10-minute Tuesday. I'm excited for this 10-minute Tuesday.
Why? What are we talking about?
It's actually not because of what we're talking about. It's
Hmm.
because, well, it is, but it's the inverse of what we're talking about. Let me put it this way. Today, Andy and I have decided to talk about Oscar snubs.
Snubs.
Snubs. Movies that the Oscars or performances or contributions to the beautiful art form of cinematic artistry, things that Oscars should have said stuff about and didn't.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
but the funny thing is, I'm not actually excited about it because I want to crap all over what the Oscars did with their nominations. I'm excited about it because I had to start thinking about things that I think deserve recognition, and that got me excited.
Indeed.
I'm less excited about talking about how dumb the Oscars are, which to me is a given, and more excited about just being like, wasn't that a cool performance?
Indeed. Totally agree.
I wonder if we can do it in 10 minutes.
We can't, but
Let's give it a
hope springs
try.
eternal. So,
It's funny you said that.
nice.
Pregnant pause.
I hate you. So we have broken them down into the big categories: picture, director, actor, actress, supporting actress, uh, and screenplay. And we're not
Yes. Yes.
unlike the Oscars. We're not going to differentiate between adapted, or at least I didn't differentiate between adapted and original screenplay. Um, and while we will talk about, well, we'll mention a bunch. We're going to try and focus in on one snub per category. So
Yes.
so picture, and for each one, I'll read out the films that
It's
were
funny. It's funny that there could be a snub in Best Picture since Best Picture has five too many nominees as it is.
agreed,
I am completely opposed to 10 nominees for Best Picture
utterly
on
opposed.
every level.
Yes.
And yet I have found snubs. Way to go, guys.
And as have I.
Okay.
So
Do you want
these
me
are
to read through them or do you want to read through them?
these are the nominees for Best Picture: Amour, Life of Pi, Argo, Lincoln, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Silver Linings Playbook, Django Unchained, Django Unchained, uh, Zero
Django!
Zero Dark 30, and Les Miserables, Les Miserables.
The Miserable Ones. I looked over at my wife during that movie and I was like, it's amazing that a movie called The Miserable Ones is not uplifting.
Who could have seen that coming? Spoiler! Spoiler!
Spoiler.
So,
Unhappy people in this film.
snubs in the Best Picture category, Phil?
If I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Wreck-It Ralph, which I'm not surprised that
Right?
a cartoon would get snubbed. And this movie, I think, didn't even get the love in general that I think it deserved.
I agree.
But that would be my official answer. That would be my official answer. I have another one that I will mention, but go ahead. What's yours?
My official answer, well, again, much like you, my official answer is none. There are already too many. But, fine. The Gray. The Gray.
That was my other option.
Yep. I
When did you see it?
I saw it in January.
Oh, so did I. I thought you hadn't seen it in the theaters for some reason. I guess I was talking
no,
to someone
I
else.
loved that movie.
Okay.
We might be.
I think The Gray was a movie that was completely, in the words of a sage person, misunderestimated. And it deserves recognition. Straight up, it deserves recognition.
I I would go further. I think it is a brilliant. I think it's a brilliant movie, and I think that I'm not going to say if you didn't like it, but if you came out of that movie thinking that it was supposed to be about Liam Neeson punching wolves, don't breed. Don't reproduce. Don't have kids.
But I already did. I will say
Oh,
this. I went into
zing!
the movie hoping it was about that, and I was glad that it was what it was,
Yes.
but wish that there had been a B movie version of The Gray shot simultaneously with the same cast that was actually about Liam Neeson punching wolves.
Well,
Like if they had put out, wouldn't that have been amazing if they had put out two films?
yes. Like that the prequel to The Exorcist they did, and apparently
Like
neither
here's
was
the
very
good
good, but
movie.
yes.
Here's the movie America deserves, and then or no, here's the movie that America should watch, and then here's the movie America
There
deserves.
you go. Yes. Yeah, let me be clear. I'm not saying no to Liam Neeson punching wolves. I
I'm
mean,
not really saying no to Liam Neeson ever again. Let's
I'm
be
I'm
honest.
just a man and I
Yeah.
have needs, and one of them is probably Liam Neeson punching wolves. But
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 the previews make it seem like that's the movie, and it
yes.
is actually literally couldn't be further from the truth.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
not that even a little bit. Well,
Right.
it could be further from the truth. There are wolves and Liam Neeson,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
it is. And here, let me say this: like, as I would like at some point to show it, and I would have to figure out how to do this and who to do this with because it would have to be appropriate, but in a church context, because it is a deeply existential movie wherein one of the central questions is how could a god allow dot dot dot.
One of my favorite scenes. This is not immediately a response to what you've just said, but I promise it is. One of my favorite scenes in movie history is in the Paul Newman movie Cool Hand Luke, which is
One of the greatest films of all time, unquestionably.
yes, and it is a Christian allegory. Cool Hand
Yes.
Luke is Jesus.
Yes.
And there is a scene where he declaims, like where he calls God out,
Yes.
basically, and it is shattering. It is so powerful, and not that I certainly haven't been writing about this in my diary every night since I saw that, but I had yet to see a movie that even attempted not showing you the same thing, but
Yeah.
a similar, like, man talks to God about the meaning of it all.
Right.
In a sort of similar sort of way. Not
Right.
necessarily the same context, and you know what? I got it in The Gray.
Yeah.
There is
I agree.
that scene towards the end.
And what I think
it
is interesting is some
beautiful.
people could walk away from that movie thinking that the makers of the film made a definitive answer.
Right.
I mean I think you could say that if you wanted to, but I don't think that's the case, and I find that really fascinating.
Yes.
And we'll have to we need to move on because
Yeah.
I would talk for hours about Cool Hand Luke, about The Gray, and about the calling out to God
Yes.
and in movies and how movies wrestle with the possibility of atheism. I think it's fascinating.
Yes.
So, but I thought the movie was what a wonderful movie. So, anyways, yes,
Yes.
yes to that. That was my second choice.
Sweet. So that's Best Picture. Best Director.
Oh, go first, but to me it's so obvious.
Sure.
Oh,
So first, the people who were
rage,
nominated.
rage.
Amor Michael Haneke.
French guy.
He's I
Michael
I believe he's Danish. I'm not sure about that.
Whatever.
Ben Zeitlin from Beasts of the Southern Wild, Ang Lee, Life of Pi, Steven Spielberg, Lincoln, and David O. Russell, Silver Linings Playbook. I am not. Well, I'm going to say the other one so that Phil can say. Well, I think Phil and I both have two, so I'm going to say one, and he'll probably say the other. I'm going to go with Catherine Bigelow for Zero Dark Thirty.
Yes.
And something that I would love to explore further in a podcast about this movie, and maybe about Hurt Locker as well. For those who don't know, she also directed The Hurt Locker. Both movies reminded me of, and stay with me for a second, Stravinsky's...
It's so hard.
I know. Stravinsky's piece, The Symphony of Psalms. You have likely never heard it because it is the least catchy piece of music ever. But the thing is, that's by design. What Stravinsky wanted to do when he wrote the Symphony of Psalms was he said to himself, music is such an emotional medium. I want to write something that appeals not to emotion at all, but purely to the intellect. And I remember singing it, and I was like, this is the most discordant piece of awfulness that I have ever experienced. But by the time we actually performed it, I was like, this is so cool. And I can't stop thinking about how it fits together. And I think with both Hurt Locker, but even more so with Zero Dark 30, what Bigelow has done, and I think it is by design, she has made a more, and I'm not talking about true or false here, she has made a more objective movie than any documentary you could name.
I agree.
It is.
I agree.
There
I
are
couldn't agree
moments.
more.
Yeah.
And first of all, it puts action movies to shame.
Yes.
It shows just how tense real like action in real life is, first of all, and doesn't need to be loud and slamming in your face for it to be amazingly tense.
Yes.
First of all. Secondly, it reminds me to some degree. I remember when I was a kid, I went out and saw Dead Man Walking with a friend of mine when we were in high school. And one of us was pro-capital punishment, and one of us was anti-capital punishment when we walked into that movie. Both of us saw the movie. Both of us loved the movie. Both of us walked out of the movie feeling even more convicted in our particular stances.
Sure. Yes.
And I feel like that is how Zero Dark 30 operates as well.
I agree with that.
So, anyways, I thought it was. I think, and to me, obviously, I think Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained is a given. I didn't expect him to get nominated but to me, what he's done is so courageous and gutsy, and what Catherine Bigelow has done is in other ways courageous and gutsy. And not to mention the fact that I don't think they like to nominate women. I know she won a couple years ago, but I still don't think they like to nominate women.
Agreed.
That's like every once in a while they give a black person an Academy Award doesn't mean that the Academy has all of a sudden fixed its race issue.
True. Agreed.
I think the two of them not getting nominated is yeah. Those are my snubs. Travesty. Next.
I will actually segue because I think there is one area in which the Academy admirably has no problem with race, and that is with young actresses. I can't think of an actor, so I'll stick with actresses. Young actresses who are not Caucasian in a leading role. You have Gabourey Sidibe for Precious. You have Keisha Castle-Hughes for Whale Rider, and this year you have, I will butcher her name and I apologize because you are awesome and wonderful, Kuvantani Wallace for Beasts of the Southern Wild. She was 5 when she got the part, 6 when she shot it, and she is now 9. And in the best way, I mean, I don't know that she should win it because I don't think you're really acting at that point. You're just being. But at the same time, that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. So maybe you should win it because you are mesmerizing.
I will respectfully disagree with your assessment based on the fact that for all that you just said, still I think only 2 or maybe 3 black women have actually won Oscars. That's fair. Nomination, fine. Anyways,
yes, that's fair.
But fair enough. So what's your snub in this category?
Well, hang on. The other nominees are Jessica Chastain for Zero Dark 30, Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook, Naomi Watts for The Impossible, and Emmanuel Riva for Amour. My snubs are as follows. Phil, what are your snubs? I actually love this category.
You have no one for this category.
I mean, there were many excellent. I feel like
I don't think there were. I had a really tough time for females in this category. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen the right movies. It's very possible
that there were excellent performances, but I think that clearly. I mean, I haven't seen Amour yet. It's definitely on my list, but I've seen the other 4.
Shock you with my answer.
Please,
I actually am. I'm shocked myself with my answer.
Tell me.
I don't like my answer.
I don't like you.
I wouldn't if I were you. I'm atrocious to look at. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is crazy.
I can't wait.
Meryl Streep for Hope Springs. I know. I think Meryl Streep is over-nominated in general. I think Hope Springs was not a great film.
Okay. Okay.
I thought she and Tommy Lee Jones's performances were so gutsy. It was, I thought, one of both of their best performances. It was not about accents. It was not about big showy stuff. I love the idea, and I love much of the movie, even though it was not a perfect movie, where they really actually tried to show what a marriage looked like for people for whom the spark had gone out, and them trying to deal with that in a real way. I was not blown away by the movie, but I was blown away by the performances and by how authentic they felt, and what an underserved subject matter this was. I'm so interested in love stories that are not about hot 20-somethings and 30-somethings.
Totally.
And they're not and they're not made. Or love stories that are not about the beginning of a relationship.
Yes.
So to that degree, I thought this movie was really, really special in that sense.
That's awesome.
And I would recommend it, actually. And I thought that her performance was so real. And I mean, so it's like, oh, look how she became Margaret Thatcher. Look how she became Polish. Look how she became blah, blah, blah. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. She's one of the best ever. I get it. Right. I know she is. I tease that, but she is. I thought her performance in this film was the kind that should have gotten nominated, as opposed to all the times when she did accents and got nominated.
Fascinating. For those listening as opposed to watching, I was shocked by Phil's answer, but I was also smiling.
No, but you were shocked.
Shocked
because I always am like, oh, come on with the Meryl Streep already.
It's true. It's true.
And when she won whatever she won for last year, and then made this and then her speech was the first time I've ever not liked. No, the second time I've ever not liked Meryl Streep.
Sure.
There's only been 2 times I haven't liked her, and that was one of them. So.
Fair enough. Moving on. The nominees for actor in a leading role: Bradley Cooper for Silver Linings Playbook, Joaquin Phoenix for The Master, Denzel Washington, Flight, Daniel Day-Lewis, Lincoln, Hugh Jackman, Les Miserables.
It's a Hugh Jackman you got there, Andy.
It used to be a smaller Jackman, but sorry, a smaller Ackman, I guess. Really. Ugh. Oh God. You know what, Phil? Don't work blue. Don't work blue. I'm gonna go first. Here. My snub: Liam Neeson in The Grey. I think he's glorious. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention Tom Hardy in Lawless. I think it's just such a powerhouse performance.
Wow, yeah. Didn't see that coming. Well done, you.
But that's not a role that's going to get nominated or win. And Liam Neeson, if The Grey had been released 3 weeks ago rather than 12 months ago, it would absolutely be in the conversation for a nomination.
Should be. Yes.
It's great.
Could not agree with you more.
I mean, I could keep talking about The Grey forever, so I'll stop there. Please. Your snubs. Snubs. Parenthesis S and parenthesis.
Jamie Foxx.
Nice. I like it.
Jamie Foxx for Django Unchained. There's so much controversy around the movie, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But there's so much but it speaks a lot to what's going on in our culture that there's controversy around it.
Yeah.
And there's even controversy around the fact that his character isn't as verbal as the other characters, and there's all sorts of stuff around that. Just because people can't figure out more ways to be complaining about stuff.
That's infuriating.
Jamie Foxx's character, Jamie Foxx deserves an Academy Award or at least a nomination. I mean, I think honestly, I think Daniel Day-Lewis should win it this year. I was just blown away by him, by Lincoln, and it single-handedly made that movie one of the best movies of the year when I thought there were so many issues with it, just deeply flawed.
Yes,
that's how good it was. But I think you're right. I think Liam Neeson for Grey, and I think Django Unchained. I think our boy Jamie Foxx should have gotten something for that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
And while I'm here, I might as well mention Tommy Lee Jones in Hope Springs.
Nice.
His best performance since No Country for Old Men. Maybe easily.
Wow, nice.
Maybe further back.
Maybe that needs to go on my list of movies that I need to see.
I think just for that, I think it's worth thinking about.
Fair
enough. Really do.
Okay. Moving on to actress in a supporting role. The nominees are Amy Adams for The Master, Sally Field for Lincoln, Anne Hathaway for Les Miserables, Helen Hunt for The Sessions, and Jackie Weaver for Silver Linings Playbook. Snubs, what do you got for me?
You're gonna love my answer, Andy.
I'm very excited.
Kara Hayward. She's the girl in Moonrise Kingdom.
Lovely.
And I am saying this on for many reasons, but one of which is aside from the fact that Moonrise Kingdom. Oh, that was my answer for best film besides The Gray. I should have actually my first answer was Moonrise Kingdom before Wreck-It Ralph actually, and before The Gray would be Moonrise Kingdom. I don't know how I missed that. I apologize. Moonrise Kingdom was the biggest snub for me for best film, and I think also aside from it getting snubbed, I think that because of the stylized way that Wes Anderson's roles are written, and because they're generally very understated, that they get ignored.
Sure.
Bill Murray and Rushmore, but is the obvious answer. But just aside from that, he creates brilliant character. I mean, Luke Wilson in Royal Tenenbaums is such a beautiful thing, and just a beautiful performance. And he just does great performances. I thought that both the young children, both the children in this movie deserved some recognition. So I'm going to say Kara Hayward as Susie Bishop. Just a beautiful role. Just a great job she did.
I agree with you, and actually, now that you say that, I can't believe I was just talking about this movie yesterday because I talk about this movie almost every day. Yes, I agree. That goes on my picture snubs as well. I can't believe I forgot it. My answer.
Well, you're a failure.
I know. My answer, which you're also going to love, from Moonrise Kingdom, Frances McDormand.
Well done, you.
She is not necessarily a very good person in this movie, but it is impossible not to love her, not to love Bill Murray, who is also not necessarily a very good person. And like all of the adults, I agree with you that the children are wonderful, but the adults make the world, right? And I'm not just talking about Moonrise Kingdom, but the adults make the world, and the children grow up in that world and learn how to deal with it. And that is one of the many things that Moonrise Kingdom is about, right?
Yes.
And
well said.
And Frances McDormand is marvelous as a woman who, if you were to ask her how
wait. Can I just stop you for a second?
Please.
Frances McDormand is marvelous as ... Every single time Frances McDormand is in something.
You're right.
She is so sneakily one of the 3 or 4 best actresses out there. Agreed. No one talks about her. She is not that famous for an Academy Award winner.
Yes.
She puts in, but that was already 15 years ago that she won. She just, it's like clockwork, that woman. It really is. It's just, to some degree, like William H. Macy, who also was in Fargo, and he should have won.
Agreed.
But he lost to Cuba Gooding Jr. for Jerry Maguire.
Woo!
I know. That was fine. That was cute, and he was really good at it.
I agree.
But it's a person that it's like no one even talks about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's just solid. Boom, boom, boom. Jeff Bridges, although Jeff Bridges won recently, but there are people, and now he's getting his recognition. But Frances McDormand does not have that kind of I think Frances McDormand could probably walk down the street on a regular basis and not get noticed.
It's true.
Which she probably prefers.
It's true.
She is a genius.
She is a genius, and she is as good in Moonrise Kingdom as she is in any other of her wonderful performances.
Yes, well said. Well said, my friend.
That's what I got. So let's move on to actor in a support. Oh wait, did you go? You did.
I said Kara Hayward.
Actor in a supporting role.
You go.
Sorry. Alan Arkin for Argo. Robert De Niro for Silver Linings Playbook. Philip Seymour Hoffman for The Master. Tommy Lee Jones for Lincoln. Christoph Waltz, Django Unchained. You want me to go? You want to go?
Because or do you want me to go? Because my answers are so obvious, right?
You're welcome to them.
Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained was one of the best performances I've seen in years.
Yes.
Just years.
Yes.
Just years. And he wouldn't get nominated because people didn't know how to deal with it.
Sure.
And he wasn't going to get rewarded for saying a specific word I will not utter on the show so many times. It was a brilliant performance, just dark and scary and fantastic. And here's the thing, mesmerizing.
Yes.
Couldn't stop watching him.
Yes.
And I was legitimately terrified of him.
Yes, for reasons other than the reasons you normally can't stop looking at Leonardo DiCaprio.
Very different. He was
Yes.
ugly. He
Yes.
was ugly looking. He was ugly in his soul. And it was mesmerizing.
Agreed.
Just couldn't take my eyes off of him. It was great.
Agreed. This category should be sort of retired as the Django Unchained category
Yes.
because any number of people who could be nominated, there are any number of people in that movie who could be nominated. But
Yes.
in the interest of switching things up a bit, I have two actors that just did yeoman's work in several things this year, and I couldn't pick out which of their performances I liked the most. Chris Messina is in Ruby Sparks, and
Haven't seen it yet.
his two biggest roles this past year were Ruby Sparks in Celeste and Jesse Forever. He was also a bit role in Argo.
Okay.
He is so good. He's just a normal guy, but he populates he plays the role of a normal guy around people who are not normal, and so he's like the counterpoint to them.
Sure.
And it's amazing. But
I like that.
Thank you. But I gotta go. Here's my biggest snub: Frank Grillo, who is just an unbelievable that guy. I may have mentioned him in our early podcast on That Guys. He was in End of Watch, and in The Gray, he is one of the most. He turns in one of the most heartbreaking performances I can remember. He plays.
I'm looking at which guy this is.
In a movie about faith. In a movie about faith, he plays among other things. In a movie about faith, he plays the skeptic and the one who denies from the word go. And I wouldn't dream of spoiling his character arc, but multiple times he had me in tears. And then in End of Watch, he has a monologue that reduced me to tears again.
Fascinating.
He is.
So this is the Frank Grillo year for you. Like 1995 was the Kevin Spacey year.
Yes, and actually, since and Grillo's been doing it for a while now. But he's on quite a streak because he was also Joel Edgerton's trainer in Warrior, which I think may have been the best movie I saw last year.
Wow.
And he's so good. He's so good. I could not recommend. Find movies this guy is in and watch them. You will not be sorry because he will make it worth it.
The only thing I will say is that I cannot let this category go by without talking about Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a better performance than Leo DiCaprio's. I'm not sure, but it is an amazing. The two of them together, it is like, why can't you give them both Academy Awards for this?
Right.
And I thought Christoph Waltz was fantastic, and if he wins, that'd be great. But Sam Jackson, you opened me up to that. I really thought about that after we talked about him, and Sam Jackson doesn't get the credit he deserves. We'll leave it at that. It's the Sam Jackson. Best supporting actor should probably go to Sam Jackson every couple of years. All right. What do we have left? What are we going to talk about?
We have one left. Screenplay. Real quick, going through all of the nominees for adapted and original. Adapted: Argo, Beasts of the Southern Wild, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook. Original: Amour, Django Unchained, woo! Flight, Moonrise Kingdom, woo! Zero Dark 30. Go.
That's a go for me. I'm gonna say. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods. I can't it's a horror movie and a comedy but mostly a horror movie, and actually I would even say the third act is kind of disappointing, and yet it is to some degree the more I think about it, the more it falls apart at the end. But that being said, and that's kind of problematic for a best screenplay category. I still think it, and I'm not even. And by the way, let me just say this: I'm not even a Joss Whedon fan.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not one of those people.
Sure.
I thought that movie was so beautifully and brilliantly conceived and put together. I think it deserves it. And of course, a horror movie would never get nominated. Not this kind of horror movie.
Sure,
and I think it deserves it. I think it totally deserves it. I have a runner-up, but that's my answer.
What's your runner-up?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Nice.
Just Wreck-It Ralph is so detailed, and so much of what's special about it is in the writing. That I
agree with you. I didn't have a runner-up, but if I had a runner-up, I would have likely looked at Wreck-It Ralph as well. My answer: Cabin in the Woods.
Oh,
and you know what's funny about that?
We share a brain.
Which is horrifying.
It is a little horrifying.
It's a
Andy.
little horrifying. To be honest, Phil, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said about Cabin in the Woods, and yet overall, I disagree with you. I think that it's almost part of the point that it falls apart in the third act. I disagree to the extent to which it falls apart, but I think that nothing happens in that movie that they didn't absolutely intend. I think, and I think it is the most. It is the most, and again, our Venn diagrams are basically.
I found the last shot unsatisfying. I really did. I found the last shot, which is a big part of the movie, because it's one of those like, I found it unsatisfying. I really did. But please, I just said it should have been nominated for best screenplay. So please don't hear me.
Viewers and listeners, let's be clear. Our Venn diagrams are basically one circle here. We're like 1% off from each other. I wish the CGI in the last shot had been a little better. Other than that,
maybe that would have helped. Maybe that would have helped.
I'm good, and I just think just so inventive, like gleeful and funny and scary and just you know what it is? It's a hoot. It's just a hoot.
It is a hoot, and it's just really brilliantly conceived, and it's the kind of movie that I think I'm actually, in retrospect, still surprised that it did not. I thought it should have been as big a horror movie as Scream. I thought it should have made that big of a splash.
I agree.
I walked out of there saying that, and I'm actually to this day it just shows that I don't have a clue about American culture. That's really the truth. I don't know a thing about pop culture. I just know what I like. I thought it was a stellar horror movie, and the kind of movie that makes you watch horror movies. Let's put it that way.
Agreed.
And Wreck-It Ralph. And obviously we've said it a billion times, but the gray.
Yeah.
The gray.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, what else? Is that it?
That's it, guys. This has been a look at our Oscar snubs. Tell us yours. Email us at secondbreakfastpodcast@gmail.com. But do that for questions for the mailbag. When you like us on Facebook, comment on tell us your snubs in the comments on Facebook. Tell us your snubs in the comments on YouTube. Tell your friends. Ask them their snubs. That's what I got for you.
Can you please stop saying snub now?
Snub.
I'm so uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh yeah? Well, I've got a snub-nosed revolver right here. Huh?
I wouldn't have been scared if it was a regular gun, but now it's snub-nosed. I'm terrified.
Snub-nosed dolphin. Snub.
Please stop.
What is the word buns backwards?
Stop.
Well, guys, we're going to say goodbye, but I'm probably going to stay on the line with Phil for a few minutes longer just to say snub a few more times until his...
Hey, Andy.
What?
Moist.
That doesn't bother me.
I thought it bothered you.
No, never did. Snub. I win!
I know you
hate me. Wow. This is what happens when we record too late at night.
This took a dark turn.
We may never see you again because we might shoot each other after we're done recording this. Good thing we do long distance. This has been another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Ahoy, hoy.